Brenda says, this is bubbling and rising but tastes foul. I had a spoonful, then my husband did. He nearly vomited. There's no way I'm making bread with this. Melanie McDonald says, please don't eat raw sourdough starter. It is intended to be baked with, not eaten as it is. Also, it contains raw flour, which can cause food poisoning. Brenda, why did you eat the forbidden goo? I know it looks so forbidden and alien and tasty, but it's not, and it's disgusting. Do better, Brenda. Do better. Yes, this is r/IDidn'tHaveEggs, a collection of people who didn't have eggs. Recipes where people just didn't have things that they really should, and then shat on the author of the recipe because they didn't have that. You get it. You've seen this crap. Anyway, let's look at some. I don't like peaches, so I substituted carrots. It wasn't very good. It needs more sweetness. Yeah, no shit, Jessica, because carrots aren't very sweet. Maybe you could add some sugar and turn this, I imagine, peach cobbler into even more of a fucking nightmare. But maybe just add if you don't like peaches, add oranges. Or don't make it. That's another option. Sorry, but I tried this and it was awful. It was dry and the flavour, even if it wasn't dry, was not good. A lot of the flavour issue could have been attributable to the sausage I chose. I did use Italian sausage and didn't vary from the recipe. It was disappointing. Hardly anyone, a group of about 17, tried it and ended up dumping about 7/8 of the pan. I wanted to try to salvage, but knew I was kidding myself about anyone eating the leftovers. Sorry, just being honest. It calls for sage, not sausage. The herb, not the meat. Mama Linda, I think you need to learn basic reading, or perhaps maybe think about what you're making and think if sausage makes sense in it. Because most places where they say put sage in it, sausage doesn't make any sense. Also, I appreciate that the author is called Daddio. That's a wonderful name. This did not taste like mulled wine cider. I tried to make this for 2 times servings with every single ingredient. There was way too much vinegar. I had acid reflux after drinking it and had to find a way to neutralise the taste, because 4 cups of apple cider vinegar to 2 bottles of wine was absurd. All the other mulled wine recipes did not include apple cider vinegar. I don't know where I went wrong. B. The problem is that the recipe calls for apple cider, not apple cider vinegar. If you make it with apple cider, the juice, drinking kind, it will be much better. Again, I feel like this comes down to think about what you're making for more than 6 or 7 seconds while you're making it. If I'm making mulled wine, I don't want to put vinegar in it because that would be odd. Maybe just think, why are they asking me to put vinegar in it? Maybe I should read the recipe again to see if it's something that makes more sense. I substituted tofu for the steak, corn pops for the potatoes, and used some dandelions instead of the jalapenos. It was awful. Never again. Why do I get the feeling that Christopher is taking the piss? I think Christopher may be taking the piss. I give this 1 star because it fails to mention, perhaps the author does not know, that xylitol is extremely toxic to dogs. It kills. There are many other sugar substitutes that might be used. Why would you give lemon drizzle cake to a dog? Solid point, Leslie. Why would you give lemon drizzle cake to a dog? If you want to make a cake for your dog, you'd surely go and find a dog recipe and not just a random lemon drizzle cake on the internet. I don't blame the recipe for what happened. More positive start, I think. I should have stopped after dropping the eggs or after spilling half a bag of sugar, but yet, things got really bad when making the caramel. I was using a cheap spoon made of cheap plastic. I didn't realise it was melting because the caramel would stick to the spoon and distort the spoon. The melted plastic sort of mixed with the caramel before cementing to the pot. I owe my housemate a new pot. My tip, use a heat-resistant spoon. No shit. I've seen this too often. I saw someone trying to fry with like one of those basket spoons, those spoons with holes in them, and was very surprised when they touched the bottom of the boiling hot oil, the bottom of the pan with the boiling hot oil in it, and it melted. Like, yes, it's plastic. It's not metal or wood. It does that. It melts. 1 out of 1,000 I would give this rating if I could. Why not just 0? Why 1/1000th instead of just 0? I don't know how this is supposed to be a chocolate chip cookie recipe. It doesn't say when to add chocolate chips and how many chips to add. And since when do chocolate chips cookies have peanut butter? This isn't a chocolate chip cookie recipe. This is a peanut butter cookie recipe. How did you fuck it up, Lucy? How did you fuck up reading the recipe? Did you just search chocolate chip cookie recipe on Google and click blindly, not looking at any of the context clues or information around the web page that you were browsing, and go, yes, maybe adding peanut butter is weird. I'm going to carry on and see if it morphs into chocolate chip cookies. Maybe that's how chocolate chips are made, is we put peanut butter into cookies and then we extract the chocolate chips from that. That makes sense. We used Pepsi, so I'm not sure if that was why it was a bit too sweet, but I think we will use regular soy sauce next time if I don't have a Coke. There isn't any Coke or Pepsi in this recipe. Now, based on the context clues, it does appear as if Kirsten Klang has used a cola-based product instead of soy sauce. But if you had soy sauce, why wouldn't you just use soy sauce? Do they not want the salt in their diet? Do they really think that that's the same thing? It's the same colour, so maybe. I noticed there were no eggs in this recipe, so I added one. What a disappointment! The edges were baked and the middle was complete mush, even after I put it back in the oven for 40 minutes. Now, are these decorations on the top here? Or did they put the egg directly onto the top of the... Why do people insist on doing this? You see it quite often, is people will just add random shit to recipes and go, my god, this was awful. This is such a terrible recipe. No, you just did it wrong. You didn't follow the instructions that were given to you. You fucked it up. And this is the result. You wasted your brownie or weird kind of whatever in God's name that was supposed to be initially. Hi, Jessica. Just curious, could I change the coconut with shredded cheddar cheese? Will it work flavor-wise? And do I need to change composition of other ingredients? Thanks a lot. Hi, Ioana. No, I don't recommend using cheese in this brownie recipe. I hope you enjoy them. Maybe if you've never eaten a brownie before in your life, never heard of them, never come across them, never even thought of the concept, maybe if you hadn't seen the rest of the recipe, you could possibly think maybe this is a savory dish. Otherwise, this is mental and insane. Well, it is just mental and insane, isn't it? No, cheesy brownie doesn't sound very appetizing, does it? And I think we will end on this one because it's wonderful. Can you make this recipe without the pecans? I have a family member who is allergic. Unfortunately, no, as pecans are the main ingredient in pecan pie. You could probably make any other kind of pie that doesn't include pecans. And that would be very nice, but not this one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching r/IDidn'tHaveEggs. Those were fantastically shit reviews. Why people can't just cook a recipe the way the recipe says will forever baffle me. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, lather the like, subscribe and share buttons in butter, even though the recipe calls for, I don't know, chicken breast. And that will do it. Share the video with a friend if they also enjoy getting angry at the internet. But anyway, thank you very much for watching again, and bye for now.